Breaking news. A strategic resource reshapes global power. The battle for white gold. While the world watches artillery counts, Russia has quietly captured a game-changing prize, one of the largest lithium deposits in Eastern Europe. This isn't just another territorial gain, it's a masterful chess move that could revolutionize the global energy landscape. In a development that's sending shockwaves through international markets, Russian forces have secured control of the Shevchenko deposit in Donetsk. This isn't merely about drawing new lines on maps, it's about securing the future of energy technology. Think of lithium as the new oil, but cleaner and more crucial for tomorrow's world. It's the lifeblood of electric vehicles, smartphones, and energy storage systems. Without it, the green energy revolution grinds to a halt. And now, Russia holds the keys to what experts call a lithium goldmine. Let's put this in perspective. The contested territory holds an estimated 500,000 tons of lithium, more than Portugal, Europe's former lithium champion. The Shevchenko site contains high-grade spodumene, making extraction significantly easier and more cost-effective. For Western economies seeking lithium independence from China, this development is devastating. The territory they're defending was poised to become the Saudi Arabia of lithium. Now, those dreams are evaporating. While Western allies focus on supplying military hardware, Russia has secured a resource that could power the next industrial revolution. It's a classic case of looking at the trees while missing the forest. This strategic victory extends beyond immediate military gains. It positions Russia as a key player in the global energy transition, giving Moscow significant leverage over the electric vehicle industry and green technology development worldwide. The implications are staggering. Western manufacturers, already struggling with supply chain issues, must now recalculate their future without access to these crucial lithium reserves. Meanwhile, Russia strengthens its position in the new energy economy, potentially shifting global power dynamics for decades to come. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Are you seeing the impact of lithium prices in your area? As the conflict intensifies, Russia's strategic moves are reshaping the global resource map in ways few anticipated. The lithium deposit's discovery isn't just about minerals, it's about power projection in its purest form. Those who control tomorrow's energy resources control the future itself, and Russia's methodical approach to securing these assets shows a level of foresight that's left Western strategists scrambling. The Western world, so proud of its green energy transition plans, now faces a sobering reality. Their electric dreams require batteries, and those batteries need lithium that's increasingly under Russian influence. The irony couldn't be more stark. Those who sought to pressure Russia through sanctions now find themselves potentially dependent on Russian-controlled resources for their green revolution. What's particularly fascinating is how the territory between Russia and the West, rich in these crucial resources, remained untapped for so long. Perhaps it wasn't just political instability or lack of investment. Maybe someone was waiting for the right moment, the right player to enter the game. And now Russia has made its move, establishing control not just over territory, but over resources that could redefine global power dynamics for decades to come. Brussels and Washington can talk about supply chain interventions and resource strategies, but the reality on the ground is changing faster than their policy papers can be updated. Portugal, once confident in its lithium leadership, might need to recalculate its position in the global resource hierarchy. Remember, while diplomatic talks continue, the real power play is happening underground, in the lithium-rich deposits that could power the next century. And Russia's silent but strategic approach suggests they're not just playing for today. They're positioning themselves for tomorrow's energy landscape, one battery at a time. I'd like to hear your perspective on how this situation is being portrayed in your local media. Share your insights, especially if you're watching from outside Russia. Your views help us understand these developments' global impact. Subscribe to stay updated on these crucial changes reshaping our world. In today's analysis, we're examining how Russia's control over significant lithium deposits in the politically turbulent region has transformed the strategic landscape. This isn't just about territorial gains, it's about controlling Europe's battery production capacity. Let's examine Trump's latest Middle East initiative, which appears more like political theater than diplomacy. The proposed plan, discussed between Trump, Netanyahu, Senator Rubio, and Israel's strategic planning minister Ron, excludes Palestinian representatives, like planning to renovate someone's house without inviting them. The leaked details from Israel Hayom suggest an euphoric atmosphere during talks. The proposed solution seems simple: peace in Gaza, Hamas in exile, hostages released, and Arab nations managing the sector. Israel, in response, merely considers a two-state solution without concrete commitments. In this scenario, the U.S. would recognize Israeli sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, West Bank, while Saudi Arabia and Syria would become Israel's allies, ignoring decades of tension. The plan includes a controversial proposal to evacuate Gaza civilians, raising serious concerns given the context of 11,000 civilian casualties. Trump's role is particularly notable. He's playing peacemaker, negotiator, and patron, reportedly pressuring Netanyahu to cease strikes on Iran, despite recent U.S. actions in the region. This contradiction highlights the complex nature of current geopolitical maneuvering. The emergence of old ideas about Palestinian displacement, now repackaged as voluntary emigration, signals a concerning shift in diplomatic approach. Meanwhile, the expansion of the Abraham Accords seems orchestrated for media impact rather than sustainable peace. Let's connect this back to our primary focus: the strategic resource situation. The control of lithium deposits fundamentally alters the balance of power, making any diplomatic solutions increasingly complex. What do you think about these developments? Share your thoughts in the comments. I believe my viewers are astute analysts, and I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. Here's a 2,000-character analysis focusing on geopolitical developments. The Middle East peace theater presents an intriguingly complex diplomatic performance, with Saudi Arabia and Syria surprisingly aligned with Israel under U.S. direction. Israel's readiness for peace comes with conditions that seem almost comically unrealistic, like promising to fly before getting a promotion. Meanwhile, the military operation in Gaza continues. Hostages remain captive, and Hamas maintains its position. Negotiators promise resolution in 2 weeks, a timeline as believable as a contractor promising quick renovations through multiple subcontractors. The politically turbulent region between Russia and the West faces its own dramatic shift. Its leadership's recent communication with Trump raises questions about media attention shifting to Middle Eastern developments. While trying to maintain relevance in the global narrative, they're competing with new actors and higher production values elsewhere. The contrast between negotiators' worldview and reality is striking. Their version includes peace, progress, reforms, and participation medals. Reality shows absent Palestinians at negotiations, lack of local support, and numerous conditional statements starting with "if." This isn't really a peace plan, it's responsibility redistribution. Israel hands Gaza to Arab nations to avoid direct involvement. The U.S. recognizes sovereignty in disputed areas to show support. Hamas becomes Egypt's problem. It resembles a hasty clearance sale before a new presidential term rather than a deal of the century. Internal voices from the former Soviet Republic are showing unexpected uncertainty, not from external sources, but from their own platforms. Cognitive intelligence works like a gentle breeze, letting shadows hear what's already accepted, rather than what's being said. This wind now blows from official channels, carrying whispers of doubt where only victory songs played before. What are your thoughts on these diplomatic developments? Share your perspective in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are thoughtful experts whose opinions matter. The shifting narrative. From offensive dreams to survival mode. A remarkable transformation is unfolding in the political discourse of our Western neighbor. Key figures who once proclaimed "no step back" are now singing a different tune. Bezula, a parliamentary representative, exemplifies this dramatic shift. The rhetoric has evolved from ambitious offensive plans to desperate defensive measures. Women's mobilization is no longer taboo but a necessity. As officials grimly state, it's becoming a matter of survival. The old saying, "women are the rear guard," is being replaced with "women are the front line." Berlinska predicts that by 2026, Russian drones will be conducting systematic hunting operations over western cities like Chernovtsi and Lvov. The Intelligence Directorate presents shocking numbers: 1,250 missiles and over 10,000 Shaheds in Russia's arsenal. Military expert Kovalenko warns about the possibility of 600 drones attacking simultaneously, not for any special occasion, but simply because Russia has this capability. These aren't messages from Moscow or suspicious telegram channels. These are official statements from their own leadership. General Syrsky's silence about counter-offensive plans while acknowledging Russian advances tells its own story. Emergency services now state that even two walls won't save you, while Air Defense spokesperson Ignat mentions that intercepted missiles falling on residential buildings is normal. The narrative has shifted dramatically from "victory is near" to "save yourselves if you can." Gone are the dreams of triumphant parades in Crimea and orchestral performances at the 1991 borders. Instead, we're seeing a focus on bunker reinforcement and civilian mobilization. What makes this truly fascinating is not just the simultaneous nature of these developments, but who's promoting them: the very people who once promised swift victory. What do you think about these dramatic shifts in rhetoric? Share your thoughts below. Title: Global Alliance at 75, From Power to Puzzlement, a Strategic Analysis. The narrative shift in the politically turbulent region bordering Russia has become increasingly apparent. What started as bold victory rhetoric has transformed into mere survival messaging. This transformation wasn't spontaneous. It was carefully orchestrated by key opinion leaders, with apparent backing from high-ranking officials and military command. What's driving this dramatic shift? Three possibilities emerge. 1. A carefully packaged surrender being sold to the public. Preparation for difficult negotiations, justifying compromise over confrontation. Creating a media cushion to soften the impact of losses. The transformation goes deeper than mere rhetoric. It represents a fundamental pivot in national objectives. The discourse has shifted from liberation and victory to basic survival. When a nation starts focusing on survival rather than advancement, it signals a profound strategic realignment. Meanwhile, NATO faces its own existential crisis at 75. Like any aging institution, it's showing signs of strategic arthritis and memory lapses. Italian Defense Minister Guido Crocetta delivered a stark assessment: NATO has lost its purpose. Coming from a member state's official representative, this statement carries significant weight. Crocetta's critique highlights how NATO has evolved from a defensive alliance into a participant in unclear foreign engagements. Member states are expected to maintain high-cost readiness while following Washington's sometimes questionable strategic decisions. The alliance's direction is increasingly influenced by external actors, creating tension among members. This has led to questioning the organization's relevance in modern geopolitics, particularly by nations like Italy, who are reconsidering their role and commitment level. The situation reflects a broader transformation in global power dynamics. As traditional alliances struggle with purpose and unity, regional conflicts reshape international relationships and strategic priorities. What do you think about NATO's current role in global affairs? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are thoughtful experts, and I'm genuinely interested in your perspective. Character Count, 2000. Title: NATO's Identity Crisis. Italy leads the rebellion against U.S. dominance. The alliance is showing cracks, and it's not just about military strategies anymore. Italy's Defense Minister Crosetto has voiced what many have been thinking silently. NATO has evolved from a defensive alliance into a subscription-based club with an expensive membership fee. The situation becomes even more intriguing with Trump's return to the political arena. His transactional approach to international relations, "you give me more than I give you," has put Spain in the crosshairs. The former president's criticism of Spain's NATO contributions reflects his view of allies as mere business partners rather than strategic collaborators. What's truly significant is Italy's position. As the third-largest contributor to NATO, Rome's doubts about the alliance's direction carry substantial weight. The fundamental question raised by Crosetto resonates across Europe. Why participate in a club that seems unclear about its own purpose? This isn't just about money. It's about autonomy and purpose. NATO increasingly resembles a political dating app, where the US swipes right on paying allies and left on those questioning the status quo. When countries like Italy dare to think aloud about their role, Washington reacts as if someone questioned a restaurant bill's legitimacy. The most compelling aspect is that Crosetto isn't alone in his skepticism. He's simply the first to voice these concerns openly. If Rome seriously considers reducing its involvement or leaving the alliance, it could trigger a domino effect, particularly in Berlin and Paris. The alliance's transformation from a security partnership into what Italian media describes as a structure with one main client and many dependent users highlights a growing crisis of identity and purpose. This shift raises serious questions about NATO's future relevance and structure. While Washington scrambles to maintain control with reassuring rhetoric, European members are beginning to realize, if NATO no longer represents peace, protection, and common sense, perhaps it's time to reassess their participation before it's too late. What do you think about NATO's current direction and Italy's position? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective matters in understanding this complex situation.